What is up, car addicts? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Dumb Money Event Week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for February 23rd through March 1st, 2023. In terms of new content for this week, we unfortunately did not receive a new car this week, which honestly I think really isn't a surprise considering how good last week was. I think we were pretty much all assuming we weren't going to get a new car this week. Plus, the Panther that was released last week was indeed removed from the website, as Rockstar stated in their newswire last week, since it was a limited time vehicle. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the BF Weevil. This vehicle is primarily based on the VW Type 2 Beetle and has a normal price of $870,000 and a trade price of $652,000. To get this vehicle for free, you have to place top 3 in a Street Series race for 2 days in a row. So pretty easy, although I'm sure most of you already got this car for free from English Dave a while ago. Now in terms of performance, this car is in the compacts class and is around mid-pack in that class, which is pretty decent for what it is. Plus it has great customization and is the only car in the compacts class that can do wheelies. In terms of the test drive vehicles for this week, we have the Chino, the Komoda, and the Bliss Conjo as well. And for next-gen console users, we have the HSW Banshee as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Now in terms of a casino podium vehicle, we have the Karen Previon. This vehicle is primarily based on the Toyota Soarer, mixed with the Lexus SC400, and has a normal price of about $1.5 million and a trade price of about $1.1 million, so a pretty pricey car. Now in terms of performance, it's in the Coupes class and is pretty much the fastest car in that class for track performance. Really the only car that rivals it is the HSW Sentinel XS, and that's an HSW car. The Previon can still compete with it on most tracks, which is very impressive being a non-HSW vehicle. It just has a lot better handling than the Sentinel. In terms of the dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos we have the Paragon R and the Emirates. And for Simeons we have the Hermes, the ETR1, the Tahoma Coupe, the FMJ, and the Yosemite as well. Moving on to the discounts, in terms of property discounts, we have 35% off the Nightclubs, as well as 35% off the upgrades and renovations for them as well. Now, if you don't own a Nightclub, I would highly recommend getting one if you're looking for a good business for passive income. Moving on to the vehicle discounts, we have the Emirates, which is continuing from last week. However, last week it was 30% off. This week it's 25% off. But either way, still one of the best cars in the supercar class for track performance alongside the Krieger, so maybe consider picking one up if you missed the discount last week. Continuing, we have 25% off the ETR1. So this car is in the supercar class and has some of the best handling in that class. However, it does lack in terms of acceleration and straight line speed, which places it around 20th place for most tracks. Plus, it doesn't really have much customization. Next up, we have 25% off the FMJ. One of my favorite supercars in terms of exterior design. I think it's just a beautiful looking car. However, the customization is pretty average and its performance is decent, but it does struggle to make it into top 30 for track performance. Continuing, we have 25% off the Komoda. So this car is in the sports class and is a ton of fun to drive with great customization as well. And in terms of performance, it's around the pace of the Growler Inspector Custom in about 35th place in that class, which honestly is pretty good for a sedan. Moving on to the San Andreas website, we have 25% off the Tahoma Coupe. So this car is in the muscle car class and it's around mid-pack in that class, so pretty average. Now this was the first drip feed car of this DLC that most people got for free because of the Community Heist Challenge. So if you don't already own it, honestly I don't think it's worth it personally. Customization is pretty average, and even with this discount I think it's just a bit overpriced. Next up we have the Surfer Custom, also from the Drug Wars DLC. This vehicle is in the Vans class and is one of the slowest vehicles in that class. However, it is a little faster than the regular Surfer and obviously offers great visual customization, but it offers no interior customization, which is a bit unfortunate and honestly a missed opportunity from Rockstar. And lastly, we have 25% off the Yosemite. So this used to be the best vehicle in the muscle car class for racing for many years, but obviously it was dethroned by the Dominator ASP and later the Buffalo STX, and then eventually the Vigero ZX with the HSW upgrade, and now sits around 5th place for that class for track performance. But honestly, I think this is still a fantastic price for the Yosemite, especially with the great customization it offers and the performance as well. I think it's a great price if you're looking for a relatively competitive muscle class vehicle on a budget. Continuing to limited time content, the unreleased liveries for the Previon, Ballista Conjo, Paragon R, and the Hermes are available this week, although I'm sure a lot of you already have these liveries by doing merge glitches, but for those of you who play legitimately, here's your chance to get them this week. In terms of double money, we have the double money NRP on the adversary mode offense-defense, plus double money NRP on some of the Nightclub related missions, such as steal Nightclub's goods, Nightclub popularity, Nightclub management, and lastly, a 50% boost on Nightclub business production rate, which is pretty good. Moving on to the Prime Gaming bonuses for Prime Gaming members only. So again, same as usual, we have the free $125,000 for logging in during the event week period. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is La Fuente Blanca. This week's normal time trial is Galileo Park. I highly recommend a vehicle with good handling or a fast bike for that one. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the motorcycle race Art to Art. I highly recommend the Shotaro or Hakachu drag for that race. And if you're on next gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Hakachu drag. And lastly, for next gen console users, the HSW time trial is East Vinewood. As always, the HSW Hakachu drag would be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm going to have to go with the Yosemite. For the performance and customization this truck offers, I think this is an insanely good deal for this truck. Definitely a great one to own if you don't already have one. I highly recommend it. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is pretty decent. I'd say slightly above average since we do have the Nightclub business bonuses. Again, it is a bit unfortunate we didn't get any new content this week, but considering how good last week was, I'm honestly not complaining and I'm not surprised either. I think next week or the week after we'll be getting our next drip feed vehicle, but only time will tell, and Rockstar is very unpredictable when it comes to the release of the drip feed content. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.